Welcome back to The Final Pop. My name is Juan Jimenez.
And I'm Alvin Ramirez, and we had a chance to go see Civil War.
It was a good movie.
It was fucking epic.
Yeah.
Let's talk about it. So first things first, what's your initial thoughts on the movie?
The way it's filmed, the way they show that film and the story behind the film, superb. It's pretty good. I like it.
Right.
And I think one of the biggest touches that they used, because in this story they're following these journalists during this Civil War, and since they're journalists, they have to capture things. They capture they're photographers, and they use something that I don't really see in film, and they stop frames for like 2 or 3 seconds to show what they just shot, and I think it's like an extra. It's a bit of an extra touch to that film, and I liked it. I liked it a lot.
That's actually one of my favorite parts about the movie.
Really?
I think it's Chef's Kiss.
Chef's Kiss.
It's very good. I liked it. And every time that it popped up, it was
right?
just silence.
It was silent, but you admire a little bit of what they just took.
Because that picture shows what war really looks like.
Yeah.
And it's black and white too.
And it's black and white.
So it just shows like it
really shows some kind of emotion. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Speaking of the journalists, the cast was great. I think the cast was pretty great. Do you know who played?
So the main character, Kristen Dunst, she played a very emotionalist person. Very stale, but she's dealing with a lot of trauma.
Yeah.
During the chaos, she does have a breakdown, and it's just one of those things where, a lot of people try to hide their feelings and their emotions, but when things start to ramp up, it kind of comes out into fear, and that's what we saw with her at the end. And this is also a spoiler warning, but there was this huge thing about her story arc, which was taking the picture, making sure that you have that picture, you have that frame, and even though it's something that can be very traumatic to whoever's taking the picture, it needs to be done. Yeah. Right?
Yeah.
And
I mean, some of her traumas, the eerie feeling of it is that they actually show just a little small glimpse of what she went through in her trauma.
Right.
And those pictures, those scenes kind of hit, and you kind of go like, it's gruesome what she went through.
Right.
And
one of the worst ones was with the guy in the tire getting lit on fire.
Yeah.
Oh
yeah. And
it's rough.
It is rough.
It's a dark movie. With that being said, no kids.
No kids to this, please.
Yeah, this is something that a kid should probably, steer away from.
I think it is rated R, so.
It is, yeah.
Yeah.
So.
Run, kids, run. That's what it means. Rated R, but. Yeah, what do you think of the concept? What do you think of the concept of Civil War? You have a lot of these post-apocalyptic, like, nuclear thing, but this is actually something that happens within our own government, because Canada's still intact, all these other countries are still intact. It's the America. United States that is going through this Civil War. What do you think of that concept? Because I don't really see it as much.
Yeah, the concept is honestly kind of, like you said, you don't see it as much, and it's very rare, but it's also kind of what reality could be.
Yeah.
And that's what kind of scares a lot of people right now. The fear that these militias can actually gain some sort of power. And, in 2020, there was this huge raid at the Capitol, and it was kind of one of those moments where it was a little dark. There was a lot of negative things, a lot of riots were happening. And for this movie to be made 4 years later, it was bound to happen. We were going to get a movie just like this.
Yeah.
I do like the concept, because not only does this tie with what's happening in reality, but it also does have that post-apocalyptic feel to it, which a lot of movies have done before, and a lot of movies, sometimes they don't get it right. But this one, I feel like it got it really spot on.
Now, you brought up one thing earlier, that during the 2021 riots, and weirdly enough, and it kind of felt eerie, that they used actual footages from the riots that happened.
Yeah, they didn't have to hire actors and get a set and burn cars. That happened in real life.
They showed B-roll. They showed B-roll from like real life unrest, and that kind of hit me. I'm like, oh my gosh, like this is going on, and it's still continuing to happen, and there's just there's no way you can stop. And Yeah. Any highlights or scenes that kind of made you like?
Honestly, it would have to be towards the end. Um, One of the highlights in the movie was towards the end. It was when Kristen Dunst was having a panic attack and she just couldn't really take control of it. And the other actor, his name is Wagner Maura. Now Wagner, he was the one holding her tight, taking her wherever that she had to go. And sometimes during war, you have these traumatic moments where a lot of people either have that thick skin to go through with it, or they collapse, which is how she did. So one of those moments was, just seeing how everything played out, the way that war looks like, the way that the sounds of the bullets were hitting.
Yeah.
One thing actually that we should say from the get go: please watch this movie in IMAX.
Yeah.
Because the sound that they had in that movie theater was
Yeah.
awesome.
This is a movie that you shouldn't miss, and
it won't be the same if you just watch it at home.
yeah, because it is. This is, I mean, a war movie, and it's just booms and shots are just heard all over the theater.
I actually got scared a few
Yeah,
times.
yeah.
I
A
was
few
like, oh,
jump
shit.
scares, and I'm like, Jesus.
Yeah.
Yeah, going back to the cast, is there any other character or cast that you liked or disliked?
I did like Wagner. He was a great side character. Just brings a bit of a comedic touch to the movie. But towards the end, he does deliver a bit of a amazing arc with how he shows his emotions, especially when one of his friends dies, and that moment behind closed doors, not many people can see, and for him to be vulnerable like that and show it to us is pretty nice.
Yeah.
So I do think he killed it with his role. He did what he had to do, and yeah, there's not one person that I felt shouldn't be there. There's actually a few people that I wanted more of. Nick Offerman, the president. We had him in the beginning and we had him in the end. I wish there was some sort of background or some sort of arc with him, but we didn't really get much from him.
We did get what he kind of did, because
yeah.
apparently he this was his third term, and and it's
Very
kind of
dictatorship, right?
Yeah, so we knew a little bit of backstory, but yeah, same here.
Yeah.
I wish we would have known. I wish we would have known a little bit more of what he did
Right.
and what his presidency was.
Because a lot of the information was kind of tossed at us, and a lot of the kind of did go over our head sometimes.
Yeah.
It didn't really stick with us. The information was hard to retain. Another person is also Jesse Plemons. He depicts a great racist person.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what or how he does it, but it's not his first time too. In Breaking Bad, he's done the same thing.
Oh, really?
Yeah, where he's just like the most racist guy possible.
Yeah.
So they definitely casted the right people for this movie.
All right, let's say our final pop score.
All right,
And what's yours?
4. Just kidding. All right, so for my score, it's going to be a solid 93.
93.
93.
All right.
Yeah, I think it's a great movie. There's not many things I can really say, this sucks, it's terrible. I can be nitpicky and, whatever, but they did a great job. Cast was great. Writing was great. I think it was a great movie.
Okay. All right.
So what about you? What is your score?
My final pop score would be 95.
95. Wow,
Yeah,
we're pretty close.
I think it was a good concept of a film. The way they filmed it, beautiful. The only reason on why I had to, not be 100 was I wish there was more of a background, like you said, on the president. We knew nothing about him, what his presidency looked like, and the things that we do know is because they said it, hiddenly, like,
Right.
Just not in plain sight for everybody to kind of listen on, because you didn't hear.
There was a few things that did go over my head.
Yeah. So I wish they would have not retained too much information. That way we know what was the unrest for and what he did and all that stuff. So for not having that much for not having much of a story behind that the president, which is why there was this civil war because of this movie.
Right.
I had knocked down a few points, but 95 is still pretty good. I love the film. I enjoyed it. There was not a moment that I was like, falling asleep or anything. Even if I was, I think I would have been like you know, like scared to shit because of the
Scared to
great
shit.
sound effects of this movie.
Yep.
So yeah, that's my score is 95. Yours is 93.
Okay, we meet up at 94.
94, you guys.
Easy peasy.
That's a good film. It's a really
great
good film. So
watch it. Don't take your kids. Make sure you get the best audio possible.
Yeah.
And yeah, get ready to enjoy some epic action and yeah.
Yeah. All right, you guys, find us on Twitter and Instagram as thefinalpop.com. And if you want to cast your rating for this movie, you can go to thefinalpop.com and go into the movies and vote for that movie. And if you think it deserves 100%, give it 100%.
If you think it's less than 100%, you think you really hate this movie, then go ahead.
Yeah.
We want your opinions. We want to make sure that every opinion is counted for. So yeah, thank you guys for watching. Like and subscribe, and we'll see you guys on the next movie.
All right. Stay entertained.